Hey, so this is the end of week 3. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this book here, Wilcoxon. So the plan is to get through this book in 2 weeks, so this is the first week. So you would think that I would be halfway done, but that's not really the case. We'll talk about that a little bit. So right now, the one that I just finished recording was the Lorraine solo. So far, it's been pretty good. On Monday, I didn't really have time to practice at all because I was still coming back from my vacation from last week. But on Tuesday is when I started really practicing these and going through them. The main thing that was happening was I noticed that my double strokes were not very good. So I was really messing with my double strokes and trying to get them to line up a little bit better. The other thing that I realized is that holding my sticks with a fulcrum in my middle finger, or mostly in my middle finger, was helping me a lot. So I was doing that. Watching back the video, I still realized that my wrists are kind of not always moving, especially when it's like a slower movement, especially for accents. So that's one of the things that I want to continue working on this week. Try to get my accents to be a little bit more relaxed. And it is getting better. It's just still, sometimes I'm doing a little bit like that, kind of like molar pumping, but just the wrist part doesn't look very good. So yeah, so far the main issue has been technical issues, like for recording, just getting the lighting right, getting the right angle, having to move a bunch of stuff around, and then just having enough space on my devices. So I got all that sorted out, so hopefully next week will run a lot smoother. Most of these solos have been pretty good. I'm trying to go through all the repeats, but the edition of the Wilcoxon book that I have right now has a few typos, like some repeat bar lines that don't really lead to anything. Like there's one at the beginning, and then there's none at the end, or there's one at the end, but there's none at the beginning, so it doesn't really make sense. But I'm trying to follow the repeats as much as I can, even though a lot of the time it's just play this whole solo again, first ending, second ending. Yeah, I'm doing that. It seems okay. One of the solos, I decided to play the bass drum with it. That was really telling for me because I noticed I was flamming a lot with the bass drum, which I noticed mostly when it was left hand lining up with the bass drum, which makes sense to me, but also when it was the right hand lining up with the bass drum. So that's something that I'm a little bit worried about. So it's something to focus on later on when I'm doing the new breed book. I think that what I'll have to do is I think I'm going to stuff my bass drum just to make it a little bit tighter, make it a little bit easier to hear. I might also put a patch on the bass drum to make it a little bit more clicky. Hopefully that will be enough. But yeah, so I've been learning a lot, basically just watching these videos, filming these videos. What I need to do is just edit them and put them out. So I'm just going to put them individually one at a time. The metronome speed that I was using was 160 for all of them, I think. Maybe I forgot to change them. I usually started at 100, and then I would play the solo once, bring it up to 110, and just work my speed up. And the speed of these was pretty good. It's kind of like a little bit slow. It's like not quite fast, not quite slow. So it's a little bit awkward, but it really gave me enough space to tighten up the details. I wanted to play it initially at 180 or 200, but I think this was the right choice just to hear a little bit more of the nuance between like the triplets and just the normal eighth notes. One of the things that I'm also thinking about is how to accent flams, because I notice sometimes when I accent flams, it's just the main hand, the non-grace note hand, that's accented, but sometimes it's both. So I'm wondering which one sounds better. Also, for drags, I noticed I was playing one solo. It was something with drags in it. It was roughing the single drag. So I played that solo and it was okay. But then when I listened back to it, I thought it sounded really sloppy. And the reason for that was I wasn't giving a note value to the drags. So what was happening is I was just kind of hitting the drag with no precision at all. It was consistent, but it wasn't really in time, if that makes sense. It was just 2 notes before the main note, and it didn't sound very good. So what I did was I went back and I played it again, but I was giving the drags a specific note value. I don't really know what it was, maybe 30 seconds, maybe 64ths. So anyway, I did that and it sounded a lot better. But the problem was, at that speed, it was really awkward and I had to really think about it, where usually it's subconscious, right? So at 160, I really had to think about it, but I know that if I played at 180, I would not have thought about it at all, and I would have probably just done it naturally. So it's funny to play at these medium-ish speeds, because it makes you think about things that you don't really think about, at least for me. So that's what's happening. Some of these solos are pretty easy, some of them are pretty hard. A lot of my recordings, they aren't perfect, but they're reasonably close, and I'm happy with them, so I'm just going to keep going. I've been recording with my whole recording setup, which I haven't really used too much, so that's taking some time to get adjusted to. It sounds okay. I'm just leaving all the mics on for now. I'm sure there's a better balance I can make, not EQing or anything. I'm just trying to get high quality audio so you can hear how I'm playing, all the nuances and all the mistakes. What I'm noticing too is my right hand, when I hit accents on this snare, it sounds kind of ringy. So maybe that's the way I'm holding my sticks. Maybe that's I'm hitting a little bit harder with my right hand. It could also be that I'm not hitting at the same place. Maybe I'm hitting a little bit off, closer to a rim. It could be the tuning. It could be a lot of things. But that's something that I'm noticing and I am aware of. Sometimes it's okay. I really think that it's probably my placement of where I'm hitting on the drum. It could also be the weight on my hand, because I know that's a thing. That's basically it. Next week, I'm hoping to finish it all up. I might practice a little bit more on Sunday, just because I feel like I might run behind in these, because some of these solos look pretty crazy. The new Downfall looks pretty hard. Some of them just look pretty basic. I know there's one here at the end that people say is pretty crazy. So basically, I'm playing at quarter note 80 or eighth note 160, and I'm gonna keep the eighth note 160 even when I'm playing in the 6/8 ones. So Battle 'em Out is the one I was talking about. Battle 'em Out is the one that's supposed to be a little bit harder, I think. New Downfall looks hard to me too, just about as hard as this one. Could be wrong. So anyway, I want to leave myself a little bit of extra time just in case. Based off of my schedule, I should have to do 4 every day, which is doable. I'm trying to do them in order. I might have to break the order if some of them are too hard. So far, it's going pretty well. I'm definitely getting better. One of the things is I'm realizing that I'm really not as good as I thought I was, but my ears are getting way better. So that's one of the things. I'm hearing more mistakes, which is super, super good. But it's also a little bit discouraging because I'm hearing a lot of mistakes and I'm like, oh no, that was wrong again, that was wrong again. But I'm hearing improvements too, so that's really reassuring to me. So hopefully I keep improving. I mean, I'm playing 8 hours a day. Monday I didn't really, but and Tuesdays I work, so it's a little bit harder, but otherwise 8 hours a day, pretty good so far. So I guess Sunday I'm just making up for the lost time on Monday, which I skipped. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep going through this book. I think I picked the right speed. I would like to go through it again, maybe at 180 and then go through it again at 200 and then film it every time. But anyway, after this, I'm going through the Alan Dawson ritual, and I was checking out some videos on it, and it's super, super long. Like, people are playing it fast, and it's still like 20 minutes long almost. So I don't know how long it's going to take for me to do that. But the plan is I just want to be able to play the whole thing and hopefully record it. I mean, yeah, that's the goal. And then after that, I'm going to do the other ritual, which is the lifetime warm-up Tommy Igoe one. So I'm going to be doing that. That's going to be pretty cool. Hopefully I can get through the advanced one. And then after all this, I'll probably make a video talking about what I think is the best option, or if I would have changed anything, if I were to have redone this, or if I were to redo this. And then I'll probably make my own ritual, which I can start with every morning as I continue on moving on, because I want to maintain what I'm doing right now, and I am improving. So that's the plan. I'm just going to finish this up next week and then move on to the Alan Dawson one. In the meantime, I'll be posting the videos as like 1-minute clips of me just playing the solos. Yep, that's the plan. So this week was good. Learned a lot. Hopefully I can get through all of them. I'm kind of worried about next week, but we'll see how it goes.